guys, Coach Rebecca here. Welcome back to the Good Clean Eats Kitchen. And of course, my favorite day of the week, well, I've got two favorite days of the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I get to come live and share some of my favorite recipes. And of course, today, I am even more excited because one, we're heading into a long weekend. So I'm hoping you guys all have some really good plans heading into the holiday. This year seems maybe just a little more special than past because last year we were still pretty hunkered down, and I'm hoping everyone's gonna have the chance to see loved ones, friends, and just have the opportunity to celebrate our freedoms and honestly just being an American. So again, you guys, welcome to the kitchen. I am gonna share with you today it's kind of a caveat. Now there's two core recipes I'm gonna share with you today, but one of them has the addition of a low sugar, all natural barbecue sauce that I make from scratch. The other also has a kind of mayonnaise ranch kind of sauce that goes on to the cauliflower no potato salad, and that is also vegan. So there's kind of four recipes wrapped into two. So we're gonna cover those here shortly. Also, I wanna talk with you guys about the holiday weekend. More than that, I wanna talk with you about how you deal with going to events. And if you feel like you, one, can't eat what they have there, two, you go way overboard when you go to an event because you kind of feel like, well, it's all or nothing. I'm just gonna pig out and have everything I see in sight. Here's the reality. I know from experience, you guys, like going out, socializing, being in large gatherings is one of the toughest things to do when it comes to trying to stay on track with your nutrition. But we're gonna share some of the tips that I share with a lot of my clients, you guys, when it comes to entertaining, eating out, and they're really, really simple. And here's the reality. It's all about being here. It's not about whether something you're eating is good or bad. It's about making mindful choices and also setting yourself up for success so that you find balance instead of overindulging, which is what most of us tend to do. So again, super welcome to everyone. As you guys jump on, again, as normal, drop me a 1 if you're watching this live. Drop me a 2 if you are watching this on replay. I've got some questions I'm gonna be throwing at you today. So let's get started. We are gonna kind of start with some of the stuff we need to put on that stovetop right away, and then we'll kind of get everything coming together. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys how to make today is a favorite. I make it all the time. Honestly, I make it in the winter, even though it's a total summer outside grilling, and that is cauliflower no potato salad. You guys, I tell you, this is a recipe that every single time I bring it somewhere, I make it, it is a hit. You will not miss the potatoes. Not that potatoes are bad. I just love adding a non-starchy carbohydrate like cauliflower. And you guys, yes, you can make cauliflower out of anything. So we're gonna start with that. You need a cauliflower. I'm actually gonna do 2 heads of cauliflower for this recipe because I want a big batch, because basically I could eat this shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're gonna just take a chance, and all I'm doing, if you can kind of see in the screen, for my Facebook friends, your vantage point is a little different, but I'll show you what this looks like here in just a second. We're just cutting that cauliflower up. Now, I don't want cauliflower rice. We want big pieces, you guys, kind of like what you would have if you were cutting up potatoes for potato salad. Your cauliflower is just gonna break apart, okay, into bite-sized pieces about the size of kind of what you would do when you were cutting or chopping up your potatoes for potato salad. Now I'm doing that right now. I'm gonna also show you a little hint while I do this. And that is often, as I get the rest of the florets, which are the little outside portion, taken off, I got a little hint for you guys. This core to the cauliflower, most people, what do you do with it? You throw it away. Not anymore. For this salad specifically, you're gonna cut this up just like you would potatoes and throw it right in. It cooks up the same way, you guys, as the florets, and it's perfect. And actually, this has the consistency of a potato like you wouldn't believe. I use these cores for things like, honestly, replacing potatoes in like any type of curry. I use it for all sorts of things when it comes to needing a potato replacement is the core of the cauliflower. Who knew, right? I learned that trick, I don't even know, probably 2 years ago, and I use it, seriously, you guys, for so many things. So you may see it in my recipes in the future where I call for you to use the core of your cauliflower, and that's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna get this the rest of the way cut up. I have water behind me already boiling because we just need to cook this, just like you would, again, with your normal potato salad. We're gonna cook the cauliflower, we're gonna boil it just so that those florets are fork tender, just like you would the potatoes for your potato salad. And then we're gonna pull it off and we'll put them in freezing cold water to blanch them so that they don't cook anymore. Again, you want this to have the texture of a potato salad. So you don't want those florets to get too overcooked, because if they do, it'll get mushy, and we don't want mushy. We want nice, firm florets that you can bite into. And you guys, I wish you were here to taste this, not just watch me make it. So you're gonna have to make this at home so that you know how good it actually is. All right, I'm gonna quick move my water over here onto my pan, and I'm just gonna transfer those beautiful florets right in to my pan. All right, I gotta chop up this other one really quickly. While I'm doing that, do you guys have plans this weekend? What are you doing? Are you staying at home? Are you getting together with family? If you guys are getting together with people, drop me a comment. I wanna know, what is your go-to dish that you bring every single time you go to an event? It doesn't have to be a holiday, but every time you go to an event, there's gotta be a go-to dish that you make. That's my first question to you guys. So drop those in the comments. Also, our question for you guys is, how do you feel, you guys, when you're on track and you're like, I am crushing it, I'm working towards my goals, I've been really focused on nutrition, I'm eating clean, I'm eating good, and then you get invited to a party. And you know at that party that there is going to be, yeah, there might be some vegetables, but it's probably gonna be 3/4 junk stuff that really isn't nourishing your body, and then maybe a sprinkling of the good stuff in there. How do you feel? Does it intimidate you? Does it make you worry? Does it make you what does it do for you? I wanna know. So one of the most common things in my experience that I hear from clients, and you guys can let me know if you agree, is that their first instinct when they get invited and before they go, so day of going to a party or a gathering, is they make the first critical mistake. And that is, they basically starve themselves thinking, I'm gonna save all of my calories until I get to this party. You guys, big, ginormous mistake. What happens when you do that and you think you're saving up those calories to go to the party? You get to the party, you guys, and one, you're so hungry that you reach for all the things that are counterproductive to your goals. You're so hungry that you eat so fast, you're not even thinking about what you're putting in your mouth. And guess what? Then you're like, oh, gluttonous, you feel terrible. I mean, seriously, give me some hearts if you have ever done that, if you know what I'm talking about when I say that first instinct that most people have when it comes to prepping to go into a party is not eating. So here, right now, boom, boom, I'm smacking you in the heads and I'm telling you, don't make that mistake, you guys. What I want you to do is, before you go to a party, if it's in the evening, you're gonna want to prepare yourself by, honestly, eating like you normally would throughout the day, right? So don't avoid food, don't save up. I want you to kind of eat with moderation throughout the day so that you're fueling your body like you normally would on a day-to-day basis, but at the same time, You're making it so that you're not so hungry walking into the event that you're gonna overdo it. If your stomach is full, kind of that secondary tip here, while I'm chopping up my celery, if you guys can see, is before you go, probably 30 minutes, maybe it's even on the car ride to the event that you're going to, is going to be, you guys, eat a vegetable, like one serving of vegetables, like a cup of vegetables of some sort, and a protein, right? A nice single serving of a protein, a lean protein, and some vegetables. That way, again, you're not walking into that party with an empty stomach. You're gonna be full and satisfied for a little bit, which means you're not gonna immediately go towards the table, and you're not gonna immediately be just mindlessly snacking. Don't say you don't do it, because I still have those moments where I mindlessly snack, but this little tip, you guys, will help with that. It may not avoid it completely, but it's for sure gonna slow you down. All right, so you guys, as I was mentioning that, for those first little tips about not going into an event or a party empty-handed, or empty stomach, I should say, I was chopping up some celery. Now I'm chopping up probably about 2 cups of celery. This is gonna go in, of course, to our NOpotato potato salad. So I'm just getting the veggies chopped up and ready to go while our cauliflower florets are on the stove and they're boiling right now, or coming to a boil right now. Again, don't forget, we don't want those to be on there long. So you guys, you gotta scream at me and tell me if I forget, because I'm trying to do 50 different things here, right? All right, so I'm chopping up that celery. We've got that celery. I'm actually just gonna throw it right into my big bowl that I'm gonna actually put all of our potato salad ingredients into. So that's about 2 cups of celery. You could do more. Listen, you can't go wrong with celery. It's got a great texture. You're gonna have to really chew it, which helps to slow down and helps to improve the digestive process. All right, now I'm gonna do a half of a red onion. I do red onion. You can do whatever type of onion you want. I just like the diversity of color and the pop of red that this gives to that cauliflower potato salad. So I could use my little handy dandy tool that I showed you guys the other day that I use for chopping up onions and peppers and dicing, but I'm just gonna do it with a knife, the old fashioned way. You guys, to cook, to make recipes, you don't need all sorts of fancy tools. Dude, keep it fucking simple. Keep it simple, you guys. You can make everything that I make. I get it. I do have some great tools, and I try to keep them as inexpensive as possible because, listen, I'm a budget-friendly mama too. But you can do everything that I do in my kitchen in your kitchen with really basic tools, like a good set of knives. Honestly, you guys, a nice blender, even a Ninja blender, which is perfectly fine, you guys. That's like what, $100 maybe? You can make everything that I make here. So again, now I got that half of an onion diced up. Boom, we're gonna stick that in that same bowl. Now I'm gonna add one more thing to this bowl that I don't have to chop up because I just bought it. It's how I do. I've got some relish here, some dill pickle relish, because what's potato salad without dill pickle relish, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even gonna probably measure, but you're gonna put in, this is 16 ounces, I'm gonna use half of it. So you got 1 cup of pickle relish. So you've got that pickle relish in there as well. So right now we've got the cauliflower on the stove, celery already chopped up, onion diced up, pickle relish. I love the smell of pickle relish. I mean, who doesn't love dill? All right, all of our bases are ready to go. While that cauliflower, I need to check on it. Y'all, you're supposed to remind me to check on the cauliflower. Do your job. All right, so while that cauliflower continues to cook up, I'm gonna make the sauce. Now, here's the deal. You could normally use Greek yogurt or a yogurt for the base to this recipe. So if you want to do that, you're just going to listen to what I'm saying as far as seasonings and spices to add in to make the difference here. But because I'm vegan and I'm the one who's going to be eating this the most, I'm making it vegan style with some tofu ranch dressing that I make from scratch. And you guys, I challenge you to try this because you're never gonna know the difference. It's way lower in fat content and it's high in protein and it is yummy, yummy. All right, I need to check on those florets. All right, so I asked you guys if you're just logging in now, this maybe needs about 2 more minutes. So I'm gonna set my timer so I don't forget. I asked you if you're just logging in now, we're starting to work on our cauliflower no potato salad, which is yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy. And you guys are gonna wanna try this recipe and make it for this weekend because it is a hit every single time I make it. So I asked you what your feelings are. Do you get intimidated? Do you feel like you know you're gonna go off track or overdo it when you get invited to a gathering or an outing like a holiday event like the 4th of July? Or do you feel like you got it under control? If you got it under control, I say high five, I'm gonna give you a hand. And you for sure need to drop in the comments what you do because, hey, we're here to share knowledge and information because that's how we all get better, all right? So I got all those veggies done. We're ready to go with the base of all of our ingredients, but I need to whip up my delicious tofu ranch. That is gonna have a little bit of a modified seasoning to it because we're making it for this dip specifically. So instead of garlic salt for this, I actually use celery salt because that's what we typically use in a potato salad is a celery seed or celery salt. So I'm actually using 1 block of tofu. You guys, this is extra firm tofu. No, you don't need to press it. In fact, the moisture in the tofu helps as we liquefy, right? As we break it down, it's gonna help for the creaminess consistency and the water that we need as it relates to a dressing, right? So we are gonna put 1 block of that tofu in there. Now, I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna actually grab my 1/4 cup of water. I'm gonna take that, boom. I added that water in there. I'm gonna do a little bit, just a little, friends. Watch. 1, 2, 3. That's probably like maybe a tablespoon of olive oil, just to add a little bit of fat because that tofu really doesn't have fat and nothing else in this dressing has fat in it, okay? So we've got that in there. Now, we're gonna take, I personally like to do regular grounds of mustard. I'm gonna use a tablespoon to do that. I'm gonna take that, boom, pop it right in here. Now this you wouldn't do in ranch dressing, but because this is for our potato salad, typically we like to have a little hint of that mustard in the potato salad. If you don't like mustard, omit the shit. You don't need to put it in there. It's gonna be good either way. All right, so we've got that mustard in there now. We're gonna take and we are gonna use 1 teaspoon. So I'm just gonna do about 1/2 of this right here of that celery salt. That's gonna give that little bit of that kick. And then I'm also gonna use nutritional yeast, you guys. Again, for me as a vegan, this is a great form of protein. It also adds that salty, creamy, kind of cheesy type flavor or texture. And this particular one has dill and vinegar already seasoned in it. So it's gonna make this perfect, you guys. So I'm just gonna pour that in there. I'm using about 1/4 cup of that nutritional yeast. You guys, and then we need one last thing, and this is how us vegans turn kind of tofu or any type of nut-based milk into like a buttermilk, and that is some apple cider vinegar. So again, we need 2 tablespoons, so it's about 1/2 of a 1/4 cup. I'm gonna do just a tad bit more, and that's gonna give me that kind of creaminess, again, that a buttermilk consistency would. Oh, do you hear it? I gotta take our wonderful cauliflower off of that stovetop so it doesn't get overcooked. And I'm gonna turn the water on really quick. Y'all, I'm using my favorite colander. Look at this bad boy. Boom, it folds down and then it pops back up. I posted this on Amazon Prime Day because they had these on sale. I use them all the time. They're the best. All right, so cauliflower off just just in time. That should be perfect, you guys. All right, stove is off. Cauliflower is getting cold right now next to me in the sink. It's draining, but I'm really hitting it with freezing cold water, you guys. And that is key because we need it to stop cooking. You could also throw it in a bowl with some ice to really blanch it very quickly. That'll instantly stop the cooking of it because again, we want it to be fork tender. We don't want it to be mushy for this. All right, while that's cooling down, let's pop our top on. We've got all of our ingredients for our dressing for this. And then we're gonna also add, of course, some dill to it later, but I don't like to blend that up. So I'm gonna pop my top on. We're gonna take a mini TV time out so I can go and blend this up. Now it's a little thicker than I want it to be. So I'm just gonna add water to it, you guys. Super simple. Just gonna add just a teeny little bit of water, which I recommend for dressings anyhow. Oh yeah, there we go. We got it. Thanks, Christy. I'm so happy you were able to jump on. Hopefully this is distracting you, girl. I got your back. I appreciate it. I love working with you guys. So I think, like Christy said, a big piece of the Feed Your Body Fit Academy and working with me is really teaching you tools and techniques that you can apply in every single day life so that you're not restricting and falling into the old i.e. diet habits. We want you to still be able to go and eat out and enjoy family and friends, you guys, and not live this crazy restrictive, I can't have type world, okay? That's no fun. Who wants to live like that? All right, so I'm gonna quick show you guys. I've got a big spoon here, but as you can see, it almost has like a creamy texture to it. It's a thick dressing because again, it's gonna go over that cauliflower, and as it's over that cauliflower, we want it to hold on. We don't want it to just drip right off. So that's why we want that little bit of thickness. Now, last thing I wanna add is some of that dill. And just a reminder for you guys, every single one of these recipes you can find on my website at goodcleaneats.com. You can search them based on ingredient. You can search them based on specific title, meaning no potato salad. You can also search them based on things like categories, like dips, smoothies, sweet treats, proteins, all sorts of different things. So now I added a shit ton of dill, I'm not gonna lie, because I love dill. All right, I think this needs a teeny little bit more of my celery salt. Again, I'm gonna mix it up. Then we're gonna add that cauliflower to our bowl of celery, onions, and we are gonna add our beautiful, yummy sauce to the mix. All right, so cauliflower drained. Our bowl, if you remember, of dill pickle relish, red onion, and celery, and then all sorts of yummy cauliflower florets. You guys, it's gonna look amazing. All right, let me quickly, you wanna just softly mix this together. Again, we don't wanna mush up the cauliflower. We want it to be nice and firm, just like potatoes would be. And then I've got it pretty well mixed in here. As you can see, all of those yummy ingredients coming together. And now this, in this bowl, is only about half, maybe not even half of the stuff that's in the blender, but I'm gonna take that. This is about a cup and a half of that tofu dressing. And we're gonna just take it and we're gonna, again, start to fold it in so that it really gets mixed in, just like potato salad would, into our cauliflower blend here. Now here's the deal. My recommendation is that you get this to the taste and consistency that you're looking for. So that might mean add a little bit more celery salt. It might mean add pepper. Maybe it's add more dill if you're super into dill. Whatever it is that you guys love about your traditional potato salad. Some people like to sprinkle paprika on here. I'm not as big of a paprika fan. We're gonna use it a little bit later, but so right now I've got that in here. So here's the tip. Make this the night before, you guys. Make it the night before, because as those seasonings really settle into the dressing and all of the stuff there, the dressing's gonna also really saturate and get into the cauliflower. You guys, I promise you, I don't promise anything I cannot keep. Everyone will love this. So again, for my friends who are not vegan and that's not a concern, then I encourage, instead of the tofu dressing we just made, you can look on my website. It's got the traditional recipe, which I think calls for a cup of Greek yogurt, maybe a tablespoon of table mayonnaise or regular mayonnaise, and then all the same seasonings: celery salt, fresh dill relish, and salt and pepper. And you guys, your normal base to potato salad, that's what you're gonna go to. But again, the cool thing about this, even if you make it with the Greek yogurt, is you're not just making it with mayonnaise, so it's not super heavy loaded with fat. You've got a ton of added flavor here, you guys, and I promise you, you will not miss the potatoes. This salad is the bomb.com. All right, so that's recipe 1 and 2 in the mix. We're gonna set that aside. And now we're gonna make one of my other faves. And that is a vegan pulled barbecue, or a vegan, basically pulled pork. So it's my vegan version of this. And it's gonna be made with a homemade barbecue sauce, you guys. Now, when everyone else is eating burgers and ribs off the grill, this is what I go to so that I don't feel like I'm not being a part of the party. I can still enjoy something absolutely delicious that is gonna help me to stay on track. And again, I love it because, thank God, I have learned, and I try to teach my clients how to fall back in love with food and realize that eating healthier and cleaner with veggies loaded can still be fucking delicious, you guys. It can still be so crazy delicious. All right, so I wanna show you for a second, twofold. Y'all saw me earlier say I was on like the crazy search of basically Greater Grand Rapids for fresh jackfruit. This is my cry for help, friends. I need you all to start eating jackfruit because none of the stores in the area order or sell fresh jackfruit because they constantly have to throw it away because they don't sell it. It doesn't sell when it's in stock. So I cannot support the jackfruit farmers by myself. I need your help. So instead, right now, I had to go with the modified version, which was jackfruit in a can. You guys, honestly, it's just as good. I think the key thing for me is always, whenever you're gonna go canned versus fresh, is always look at that label and double check that line that says added sugar. A lot of vegetables, you guys, I know it's crazy to think, but a ton of vegetables, they add sugar to the canning process. One, to help with preservation, but it also modifies the taste, and they think it tastes better, so they add it in because they want us to be sugar addicts, y'all. So you wanna make sure if you're doing that. Now, I'm gonna make 2 batches here. So I'm using 2 16-ounce cans of organic jackfruit. This is what it looks like, okay, in its whole form. Now, what I did, I think probably the most common thing for people that have never had jackfruit to reference it, and you'll see this in a second, is it looks like kind of like canned chicken, to be honest with you, if you get canned chicken to make chicken salad or stuff like that. But again, it has that kind of stringy consistency. I think you guys can see it there. Boom. Y'all can see it. So that's what it looks like. Now, I have drained it. I pulled it apart from the kind of triangle squares, or the triangles that it's normally in. And I will do a demo, I promise, in the very near future of what this should look like when it comes to doing it from scratch, when it is actually a fresh jackfruit, because I think that tends to be overwhelming for people as well. They're not sure how to peel the jackfruit, how to get the stuff from inside out of the shell. And I want to be able to show you guys that because it's so easy when you do it right. Now I'm also quickly chopping up some more onion, that other half of the onion that we put in our cauliflower no potato salad. And I'm gonna throw that in the pan quickly, along with a little bit of garlic, just to add some additional yummy flavors to this barbecue pulled jackfruit. So again, as I'm quickly chopping that up, what is maybe the second thing I hear most about going to parties and gatherings? And I actually hear this not just about parties and gatherings, I hear it in general, which is one, that people feel like they need to totally not drink ever again, or that they can't enjoy a cocktail and still reach their weight loss goals. So you're talking to a girl who's not gonna give up her alcohol. Yes, I've given it up for 75 days, for 75 hard challenges. And I mean, I don't need it, I can have it, but I want to be able to enjoy a glass of wine or a glass of reposado tequila when I want to, and not have to say no to myself all the time. And so here's the deal. That's the other thing that I hear from people, is they constantly feel like they have to totally ditch the alcohol to reach their goals. You do not have to totally ditch the alcohol. So tip 2 going into a party. 1, bring a bottle of water, guys. Bring it in a hydro flask, whatever it is. No one's gonna think the wiser if you're drinking water. So don't go into the party again, or even if you're going out to dinner, don't go in with your body being dehydrated. Drink enough water throughout the day, because one, that signal, when your body is full and it's hydrated, you're also not gonna feel as hungry. Hunger and dehydration are commonly confused, you guys. Sometimes when you think you're hungry, it's actually your body because it's dehydrated. So think about that. But again, drink a crap ton of water before you go to that party, friends. 1, it will slow down your pace. 2, bring a bottle of water with you, because then my first tip is do a 1-to-1. Have 1 cocktail, drink a bottle of water or a glass of water. So that's super simple, you guys. 1-to-1. 1 glass of cocktail, or 1 cocktail, 1 glass of water. Tip number 2, as I put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil into my pan and we start to cook up those onions and garlic, and then we're gonna add that jackfruit in there. Tip number 2, guys, and I do this personally, is whenever I go somewhere and I know I'm gonna be drinking, I always set a limit for myself in my head, okay? No one needs to know about it. It's really just you and you, right? So no one else needs to know. So I might say to myself, tonight, I'm gonna allot myself, we're gonna be there for 4 hours, I'm gonna allot myself 4 cocktails, right? I know then that at least it's gonna help me to be mindful of how quickly I'm drinking, but also, you guys, it's like opening up a bag of potato chips, right? And eating straight from the bag. If you don't see an end in sight, you're just gonna keep eating until you see the bottom of the bag. That's the same thing with alcohol. When you don't have a limitation or a number in mind that says, give yourself, you can totally drink, but only have 3 or only have 4. When you have that type of parameter for yourself, not limitation, but parameter for yourself, you're gonna be more mindful about how quickly you're drinking. You're gonna slow down your pace. And you guys, you will feel so much better tomorrow when you're not dreading the fact that you overdid it when it came to cocktails, right? All right, so that pan is heating up. I'm gonna take my onions, wait for that little sizzle. We need to get those so that they're literally getting a little translucent. I don't know if you heard, my stove also beeped at me because I did turn the stove on. I'm gonna take this jackfruit once we get all of the ingredients together, and I'm gonna actually pop it into the oven. Now you can cook this jackfruit, and once it's got the sauce and everything into it, you can just cook it on the stovetop. You're just gonna wanna do it at really, really low heat to simmer until everything starts to, again, just like you would with pulled pork or pulled chicken, just start to really pull apart and get kind of, I like it when it's a little bit brown, so I throw mine in the oven to cook it off the rest of the way. All right, so onions are in there. Jackfruit has been drained and heavily rinsed, you guys, and then pulled apart. So while those are doing there and this is here, I also need to make my sauce, my barbecue sauce for this. So we're gonna pull the Vitamix back out. This barbecue sauce, you guys, is super, super, super simple. I literally make it all the time. And again, everything is truly just from scratch. It's very, very simple. So you've got a little 6-ounce can of tomato paste. Use tomato paste because it's gonna be thicker. If you use tomatoes, again, that moisture from the tomatoes is really gonna make that barbecue sauce thin and runny, and we want this to have a good texture to it. So we're gonna take that and we're gonna put that tomato paste into your blender, whatever you choose to use at home, a bowl if you're gonna use an immersion blender. So we've got that. 6 ounces of tomato paste in there and ready to go. Now, we're gonna use apple cider vinegar. If you're not a vinegar barbecue sauce person, you could also modify this and do like some lime juice, lemon juice. That's just gonna give that acidity. That's really all we're looking for here, is it's gonna bring out some additional flavor. So you do a 1/4 cup of that apple cider vinegar or lemon juice if you prefer to not have apple cider vinegar. We are also going to use 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. If you're not vegan, you could also use Worcestershire sauce, okay? So just a little bit. That's just gonna give that richness and a little bit of that saltiness coming from that soy sauce, okay? Now we are gonna take honey. We are using honey, you guys, and that's really what's gonna give that additional sweetness that's going on. Now, the recipe traditionally will call for equal parts of the apple cider vinegar to honey. I tried to do a little less. Now we did a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna go a little less than a 1/4 cup of honey. So it's about 3 tablespoons if you really sat and measured it out in tablespoons versus here in our measuring cup. So again, right now we've got that tomato paste, apple cider vinegar, we've got some soy sauce in there, and then we've got our honey. Now, what's a barbecue sauce without it being a little smoky? So we've got a little bit of liquid smoke. Now, y'all, a little goes a long way. I'm just gonna take my little cap. It's teeny tiny. This is about a teaspoon. I'm gonna take it. I use that to measure, pour that in. And then last but not least, where did it go? I actually do add a little bit of spicy brown mustard to this. Again, totally your choice, but you're gonna use about 2 tablespoons of that spicy mustard, okay? You guys can tell this is not a kitchen that gets baked in very often. I do measure pretty much everything when it comes to my Good Clean Eats clients, but when I'm making something for me, I just put it together because I know how it's gonna taste and I'm super familiar with the recipes. All right, so that is all we need. I'm just gonna do a dash of water to thin it out just a teeny little bit more. That's it. We're gonna pop our top on. We're gonna push our onions around. Those are looking really good. All right, onions are translucent. Before I blend this sauce up, I'm gonna take our jackfruit and I want it to go into that stovetop or into that pan. We do want to kind of brown it. Also, this has been in liquid, so we want it to also pull some of that moisture out of the jackfruit. That's why you're gonna let it simmer for so long, so that again, it gets that consistency and texture of a pulled chicken or a pulled pork. So let's throw that in. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. All right. I will bring it over and show you what it looks like here in just a second. So we're gonna let that cook. I'm gonna put the top on it. All right, so we've already made up. If you're just joining us, you're gonna for sure wanna go back to the beginning and see our cauliflower no potato salad. Again, every single recipe that I'm covering with you today can be found on the Good Clean Eats website at goodcleaneats.com. And I'm telling you right now, not only are they home chef and nutritionist approved, but they are family and friend approved. Everybody loves these recipes, so I know you will love them too. All right, so we now have our homemade barbecue sauce. Again, apple cider vinegar, tomato paste, we've got some liquid smoke, we've got honey, we've got soy sauce, and a little bit of mustard. And I almost forgot the piece de resistance. I'm gonna use about 2 teaspoons. You could go a little more. This is of a barbecue seasoning blend. Before I forget, I want to remind you again, anytime you are making something with something that is pre-packaged, I always want you to immediately look at the ingredients and look and see if they added sugar. This one is approved by me. I love the taste. It's literally paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, cayenne, chili powder. It's the perfect barbecue blend, and there is no sugar added. We don't need any more sugar added. So it's just gonna add that little bit of extra flavor. All right, let's pop our top on, blend it up, and get it on top of our pulled jackfruit. Like that. Barbecue sauce, homemade, in your kitchen, like what, 5 total ingredients, not including seasonings and spices. If you need help with seasoning blends in the future, message me, you guys. I've got all sorts of homemade seasoning blends, from taco seasonings to barbecue seasonings, that are really, really simple. And again, the great piece about it is you can always feel good knowing that they take a couple seconds to put together, but also, you guys, you know exactly what is in them. There's not all sorts of added stuff that's helping to preserve them and give them shelf life. It's all natural. All right, boom. Can you all see it? Look at it. It's our barbecue sauce. It's ready to go into our jackfruit. Now, I need some additional protein in this jackfruit, because the jackfruit's not going to give me that added protein that I need as a vegan. So, let's show you. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's a little smoky, but you guys can see it. It looks so good. It's starting to cook up. We are going to just stir it around a little bit more. Now, earlier this week, in one of my recipes, I used lentils, which is one of my favorite forms of protein, plant-based protein. The other thing I love about it is the texture. It has a very meaty texture to it. If you've never tried lentils, you need to, because I promise it's a meaty texture. I cooked up 1 cup of cooked, so 1/2 cup of uncooked lentils. I'm gonna also add this in to my jackfruit mixture. So now, it's gonna just add to that texture a little bit, and that ability for it to have that kind of really meaty texture to it. So again, just a little quick look-see. I just added those in there. And now, you guys won't get to see the end product, but I will post a picture later, because we wanna let this now either simmer on your stovetop on super low heat. Again, we want it to simmer for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. It seems like a long time, but it's really gonna take on the flavor of the barbecue sauce that we made, you guys. And again, the more you cook it, the kind of crunchier, I guess I would say, that it gets. You know those bits and pieces that you can pull off your pork ribs, or when you do a pulled pork, you want it to kind of have maybe that little bit of that brownness to it. This does exactly the same thing, but you've got to let it cook long enough. So again, 30 to 45 minutes-ish on the stovetop on low heat, or do like I'm gonna do, I'm gonna toss that pan into the oven at about 350, top off, and I'm gonna let that bake out, and that's gonna probably be for about 30 minutes max, all right? But I'm gonna keep my eyes on it because I don't want it to get overdone. I want it to be that perfect texture. So let's pour this sauce on. Try not to have my back to you guys very often. I can't believe it, we're almost done. We've already been together for about 45 minutes right now, which is what I try to promise you guys is Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're gonna always cover 2 to 3 recipes in 45 minutes. And again, guaranteed you're gonna love every single one of them. All right, so I am just now, let's bring it over there one last time for you to see. I'm a righty, not a lefty. I don't have that power in my other hand. I'm just gonna set that down on my wood board and look at that. So I'm just getting all of that sauce. Again, we wanted that sauce thick enough with that tomato paste that it really adheres to the jackfruit and onions. We don't want it super watery, so that's why we want to use tomato paste, not diced tomatoes, okay guys? All right, so you guys, for me, this bad boy is ready to go into my oven, and I can do that. These pans, you guys, they're expensive. My husband gets them for me, but they are the best. They're, what are they? Le Creuset. You guys have heard of them. I'm sure if you haven't, you need to check them out. I can literally take this from the stovetop and put it in the oven. I don't have to mess up a bunch of dishes. I love that. So I'm gonna take it right now. Into the oven it goes, 30 minutes, and I am gonna have a delicious pulled BBQ jackfruit sandwich. And I'll post it later. We don't have time to cover it now, but I have a yummy cabbage slaw that I like to put right on top of it. You guys, it is good, clean eats every day here at the Westmas household. So I hope you like these recipes today. Again, quick reminder, 1, I'll be back next week, Tuesday, with a couple more delicious recipes. Make sure to subscribe or follow for sure so you are notified every single time I go live with new recipes, tips, tricks, and more to help to feed you and your family fit. Also, you guys, make sure, jump over to my website at goodcleaneats.com. You can subscribe to the newsletter. You'll get notified when I go live. Also, you'll get all sorts of yummy recipes. And you guys, you can find every single one of the recipes I reviewed today on my website. They're printable. You can see the macro details on there, all the ingredients and everything you need to know to make this in your kitchen is available to you guys at the snap of a finger. I hope you guys like these. Have an amazing holiday. Happy Independence Day, everyone. And as always, I sign off by saying I love you, and I'll see you in the kitchen. Have a great day, everyone.